At 10 o'clock, the news now on BBC One with Jane Hill.
The wait is over. After 13 years, Gordon Brown finally becomes Labour leader. The handover of power, praise for Tony Blair, and a vision for a Brown leadership.
The party I lead must have more than a set of policies. We must have a soul.
All change at the top. Harriet Harman becomes Brown's deputy in a surprise election result. Chemical Ali, one of Saddam's most hated deputies, is sentenced to death for war crimes against the Kurds. And in sport, bad wrist stops play. Andy Murray dashes Britain's Wimbledon hopes. Hello, good evening. After 13 years of waiting in the wings, Gordon Brown is leader of the Labour Party tonight and in a few days' time will be Prime Minister. He took over the position from Tony Blair at a special party conference in Manchester today and declared he was ready to serve. Mr Brown pledged to meet the challenge of change and said he would focus on issues including the NHS and housing. And there was another change at the top, with Harriet Harman voted in as his deputy. Here's our political editor, Nick Robinson.
Thanks very much. Thank you, everyone.
Right. You are looking at the ex-leader of the Labour Party, finally bringing to an end one of the longest political grudge matches in history.
I know from his character that he will give of his best in the service of our country. The new leader of the Labour Party, Gordon Brown.
After 13 years of waiting, after 13 years of hurt, it is at last his turn.
It is with humility, and it's with pride, and it's with a great sense of duty that I accept the privilege and the great responsibility of leading our party and changing our country.
Change and new, the two words heard most often in this speech, as the son of a preacher declared that Labour needed a soul.
I am a conviction politician. My conviction that everyone deserves a fair chance in life. My conviction that each of us has a responsibility to each other. My conviction that when the strong help the weak, it makes us all stronger.
So what exactly will be the change? What exactly will be new? This was as close as he came to telling us.
So for those young people wanting their first step on the housing ladder, we will meet the challenge of change. For families and pensioners who want an NHS that is there when they need it, only we can meet the challenge of change. For people wanting a stronger democracy, we will meet the challenge of change.
His wife Sarah and his brothers Andrew and John watched as the man who's been called a control freak, a Stalinist, tried to prove that he too could change.
The government I lead belongs to you. I will work hard for you. I shall try my utmost. I am ready to serve.
A bow of the head, not a punch, not a wave, a gesture that said, I'm different from him, different from Tony Blair. First to congratulate him, not his wife, but his new deputy, the surprise winner Harriet Harman. Both served together in Tony Blair's first cabinet. Now these old ministers have to convince voters they can lead a new government. Nick Robinson, BBC News, Manchester.
Well, Harriet Harman was elected deputy leader by the narrowest of margins, beating the Education Secretary Alan Johnson by less than 1% of the vote. During her campaign, she was openly critical of the government's stance on several key issues, including Iraq. From Manchester, Robin Brandt reports.
I therefore declare Harriet Harman has been elected.
It was victory by the slimmest of margins, but now one of Labour's most prominent women is the number two.
I will listen to and be a voice for the Labour Party. I will do all I can to strive for justice and fairness. I will support Gordon as he takes on the immense responsibility of leadership, not just of this party, but of the country.
They've chosen someone who began their life in politics on the front line. Like many of her era, Harriet Harman was an activist at the start. Trained as a lawyer, she campaigned for civil liberties. During the early 80s, an awful time for Labour, she was elected to Parliament. It wasn't long before Neil Kinnock promoted her to Labour's front bench. But she was sacked as Social Security Secretary by Tony Blair in his first term after a rebellion over benefits.
Some of the issues that Harriet has raised about Guantanamo Bay, for example, I think have been a positive thing and really chime what people in the country are thinking.
She's done a great job in Camberwell Peckham over many, many years, and now she's got the chance to do that for the wider party.
She won by a whisker with just 50.4% of the vote. It was an unexpected but impressive return to the fold. Harriet Harman's strategy of courting the grassroots who were angry over Iraq and controversial public sector reforms did work, but only just. Harriet Harman went out of her way during this campaign to criticise some Labour Party policy. That kind of dissent will now have to stop, in public at least, on the orders of Gordon Brown. Her focus from this point on will be on renewing Labour and trying to win the next general election. Robin Brandt, BBC News, Manchester.
Well, let's talk to our political editor still in Manchester tonight. Nick, how is the Labour Party different this evening with Gordon Brown at the helm?
Well, we wave goodbye today to the high-octane rhetorical flourishes of the master salesman of British politics. And in Tony Blair's place instead, we got a man who sounded, I suspect, as his father did, intoning deeply about duty, service, soul. Now, so much for the style, what about the substance? Lots of hints of new policies on housing and health and education and the Constitution. No substance yet. We will see that, I suspect, later in the week when we see exactly how radical the cabinet shake-up is and exactly what policies they intend to implement.
Yes, and a word about Harriet Harman as the new deputy as well. Does that actually make her John Prescott's replacement?
No, she will not be Deputy Prime Minister. She will be party chairman, in effect. And that is intriguing for this reason. Harriet Harman beat Alan Johnson, the favourite, for one simple reason. Unlike him, she was not loyal to Tony Blair, not loyal to party policy, demanding an apology over Iraq, criticising the policy on Trident and nuclear power. She's an interesting choice now. Does she sell Gordon Brown to the party, or tell Mr Brown he's got to start listening to what made her elected in one of the most remarkable comebacks in recent British politics?
Nick Robinson, thanks very much. The Prime Minister in the former Hamas-led Palestinian government, Ismail Haniyeh, has said the kidnappers of the BBC correspondent Alan Johnston have made another video of him. He said the tape shows Alan Johnston wearing an explosive belt. He was abducted on his way home from work in Gaza on March the 12th. A BBC spokesman said tonight that the BBC is aware of the reports and is investigating the situation. One of the most notorious figures in Saddam Hussein's regime has been sentenced to death by a court in Baghdad. Ali Hassan al-Majid, known as Chemical Ali, was convicted of crimes against humanity. He led a campaign against the Kurds in northern Iraq in which 180,000 people died. From Baghdad, Andrew North reports.
It was one of the greatest crimes of Saddam Hussein's regime, a systematic campaign to wipe out the Kurds of northern Iraq. Chemical weapons were used as hundreds of villages were razed to the ground. As many as 180,000 people died. Only after his regime was toppled was the full horror revealed, with the discovery of mass graves across Iraq. This was the architect, Ali Hassan al-Majid, who the Kurds call Chemical Ali. In past hearings, he proudly acknowledged his role. But he betrayed no emotion today as he was sentenced to death 5 times for charges including genocide. God be praised, let's go, his only response. And the judge dismissed him. 2 other defendants were given the death penalty, including a former defence minister. Another 2 got life in prison and 1 was acquitted. As the verdicts came in, Kurds in northern Iraq were watching closely. Then the moment they were waiting for, the sentencing of al-Majid, Saddam's cousin. We want the government to bring him so we can execute him here, this man said. They will never forget what happened here. Saddam Hussein was ultimately responsible for the genocide, and with him out of the picture, reaction to the trial has been fairly muted across most of Iraq. And day to day, people have got other things to worry about. But in northern Iraq, among the Kurds, people are celebrating that Chemical Ali, the man who was the mastermind of one of the worst periods in their history, has now been sentenced to death. Andrew North, BBC News, Baghdad.
A British soldier who died following a roadside bomb attack in southern Iraq has been named as Corporal John Rigby from the 4th Battalion, the Rifles. He died on his 24th birthday. His twin brother, who serves in the same regiment, was at his bedside. A British soldier has been killed and 4 others injured by an explosion in southern Afghanistan. The soldier was from the 1st Battalion at the Worcestershire and Sherwood Foresters. His next of kin have been informed. 5 UN peacekeepers have been killed in southern Lebanon by a suspected car bomb. 2 of the victims were Spanish, 3 were from Colombia. They were on patrol near the town of Khayyam. The militant group Hezbollah has denounced the attack. Here, the organisers of this year's Glastonbury Music Festival, which has been the biggest yet, have declared it a great success. The police say crime at the event was down on previous years and they've described it as a safe event. But it appears that the rain and the mud has taken its toll. Many fans left early, as John Kay reports.
The homeward trudge through the Glastonbury sludge. Tonight, they were queuing up to leave the festival early after another torrential downpour.
It's been rough. Rough, really rough.
What are you most looking forward to?
Having a shower. Going home, having a shower and putting on some clean clothes.
It's not just been messy. 14 people have broken their ankles, slipping in the mud. But no sign of mud on her. Tonight, Dame Shirley Bassey brightened up the mood, although she wasn't as loud as she can be.
The farmer who organises the festival has apologised to audiences, admitting that the sound system hasn't been loud enough, but at least that's kept his neighbours happy.
We've only had 2 complaints from the village. We normally get 13. So where are the other 11? Have they gone on holiday or something?
Even though there have been 30,000 extra people this year, there has been less crime, with fewer arrests and drugs offences.
And the good thing is we've had no reported robberies, and we've also had no reported theft from motor vehicles.
Tonight, the festival closes with sets from the Kaiser Chiefs and The Who, for those who are still here at least. John Kay, BBC News, Glastonbury.
Well, now with news of why Andy Murray won't be playing at possibly another wet Wimbledon. Hello, Rob Bonnet.
Thanks, Jane. Good evening to you. Yes, Murray, the British #1, of course, has withdrawn from Wimbledon after failing to recover from a wrist injury sustained last month. He'd intended leaving the decision until tomorrow, the championship's first day, but said his doctor had advised him not to play. This the scene this evening outside Wimbledon. Damp spirits because of the weather, but also, of course, because of Murray's withdrawal.
We did come to see him, you know, and it is a bit gutting, but at the end of the day, it's for the long run, it's probably a bit better that he didn't play.
Yeah, it is disappointing. I mean, I came here to see Murray.
And here in Hamburg 6 weeks ago was how he damaged his wrist. A tear to the tendon which has left him out of the game and battling for his fitness ever since. He's been playing practice sets in the last few days but couldn't reach the level of full match fitness required, and even yesterday was resigned to missing out.
I don't think it's a hard decision. If I don't feel I'm fit enough to play and give 100%, then I won't play.
So, no Murray, injured, no Rosetsky, retired, and little prospect of a good run from Tim Henman. A disappointing Wimbledon ahead, it seems, for British tennis.
You know, I'm disappointed for the crowd and disappointed for, you know, British tennis, for the TV. But, you know, the way I look at it is that you don't mess around with any type of injury at his stage of his career. And unless he got the 100% all clear from the experts around him, he would have been an idiot to play.
Wins like this against Andy Roddick last year and his early 2007 form meant Murray was seeded 8th for Wimbledon, but it was the fear of causing more damage to his wrist that ultimately produced his withdrawal. A little more time and maybe the injury would have recovered, but unfortunately, he said, I don't think it's going to rain for the next 10 days. Let's hope not. Well, now boxing, and Britain's light welterweight world champion Ricky Hatton extended his unbeaten career record to 43 fights by beating Jose Luis Castillo overnight in Las Vegas. He stopped his challenger in the 4th round, as Joe Wilson reports.
Who could convince so many to fly so far for a bit of boxing? Ricky Hatton, that's who. The sombrero was a nod towards his Mexican opponent in the light blue colours of Hatton's beloved Manchester City. In the ring just behind him, yes, Man United star Wayne Rooney, a belt carrier. Hatton's a powerful man. Certainly too powerful for Jose Luis Castillo, who'd fought a catalogue of fine boxers in his time, but in 17 years had never been forced to the floor until the 4th round here.
Oh, great shot!
Too painful to continue. Hatton's lifestyle with ballooning weight between bouts is questionable, but he can be too much for anyone.
He's got one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Never been down before in his life. Beat him at his own game, really, with body punches, I suppose, so I'm absolutely delighted.
Now Hatton has proved himself in the USA, the future is there to grab like dollar bills. Every promoter will want a piece of the action. Man City, Man United, he's a man of the people. And knowing him, Hatton will now head home for a few fry-ups and a few pints. Joe Wilson, BBC News.
And finally, Australia's Casey Stoner has taken a major step towards the MotoGP title by winning the British Grand Prix at Donington Park. That's the sport chain.
Rob, thanks very much. Well, the news continues now over on BBC News 24, including, you can see an interview with the mother of the 18-month-old girl on their desperate wait for a heart transplant for her. But right now, let's find out if it really will rain for much of Wimbledon. Here's John Hammond.
Well, in the short term, I'm afraid there's a lot of rain to come. Yes, we are diving headlong into a serious rainfall event over the next 24 hours. The weather goes from bad to worse. A deluge and unusually strong winds too for England and Wales. And that is bound to cause some serious disruption. It's already raining across many areas. That rain will turn heavier, particularly in a zone through northern England, Midlands, into Wales as we go into tomorrow. It just stays put there throughout the day. Scotland and Northern Ireland, somewhat drier. Just the odd shower here, but let's zoom in on the action mid-afternoon, and really we could see what, 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. That will cause serious flooding across this zone: Wales, North Midlands, up into Humberside, Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, that sort of thing. Biting northerly wind too. That could well blow over 1 or 2 trees. For Scotland, just the odd shower. Mostly dry. A lot of cloud, though, and that cold wind. So 16 degrees is probably the best I can offer you in Glasgow. 15 in Belfast, but again, mostly dry. Some dry weather towards the west coast of Wales, but a lot of rain further east. And for southwest England, hopefully later on in the day, it'll start to dry out across Cornwall and West Devon, but just 14 degrees in Plymouth. Yes, it's the end of June, I know. And after a drier interlude, more heavy showers will be heading in towards southwest 19, which means, although it might not be a washout, there will be interruptions at Wimbledon. And of course, you can watch all the action live on the BBC. Jane.
John, thank you very much. Just a reminder of the main news here tonight. After a 13-year wait, Gordon Brown has finally taken over the leadership of the Labour Party from Tony Blair. That is the latest from the newsroom for now. A very good night. Bye-bye.